How many Elon Musk companies were under investigation by federal agencies about practices such as SpaceX? Where are those investigations gone? So if you want to talk about transparency, shouldn't Elon and his companies be held to the same standard as everyone else?
On his show, Piers Morgan Uncensored, Piers Morgan hosted a panel featuring right-wingers Clay Travis and Ronna McDaniel, along with Roland Martin from the left. In the segment we're about to dive into, you'll see Piers Morgan and the MAGA crowd heaping praise on Elon Musk. We're going to watch these clips from Piers Morgan Uncensored, and I'll share my thoughts on the matter too. Before we start, a quick reminder. Our previous channel was wiped out for speaking the truth, and we urgently need your help to rebuild. Please subscribe to help us reach 100 subscribers and keep this platform for honest, uncensored discussions alive. Now let's dive into these clips and discuss what's going on.
With you, Roland Martin, because I've got to say, I watched the press conference from the Oval Office yesterday with Trump and Elon Musk and Musk Jr. And all right, it was very unconventional. We've never seen anything quite like it in the Oval Office. But I tried to put aside what I was thinking as a Brit watching from London to if I was an average Joe American, particularly if I'd voted for Trump and had heard him repeatedly say, the moment we win, I'm going to send in Elon Musk to get stuck into federal bloated overspend. And then you hear them basically outline what they've already discovered and what they're going to keep doing. I'd probably be cheering them on. Were you cheering them on?
Hell no. And also, a lot of those people who will be publicly cheering him on, also whining and crying on TikTok because farmers are saying, oh, we can't get our resources. But you also talked about what they outlined. Here's the problem. If you go to DOGE, go to their website, there's nothing on it. So this idea that they told us what they found, but they presented no evidence of it. So that's just them. And remember, in the same news conference, even Elon said, yeah, he makes stuff up. He gets it wrong. Or I don't bet 1,000. So can you fully trust somebody saying I'm transparent when they're actually not transparent?
Clay Travis, your response.
I mean, I think America's incredibly fortunate to have the most brilliant capitalist mind, maybe in the history of the world, decide that he wants to try to apply his incredible genius to making American government more efficient. I mean, let's think about what Elon Musk has done. He sends spaceships to space more efficiently and more safely than NASA does, despite NASA having a 70-year some odd head start on him. He has redefined the way that vehicles move, replacing the combustion engine with electric vehicles. He, I think, has stood up for free speech on a level that has never occurred before. And even though it's not getting very much attention, he has massively increased the profitability of Twitter, now X, while firing many of the employees. And this is exactly what I voted for. Look, the federal government is bloated. It is inefficient, it is laced with fraud, and it's funded by our taxpayer dollars. If Elon Musk offered to come to my house, and my wife probably wouldn't like it because I think she spends a little bit more than me, but he wanted to go through all of our bills and point out all the money that we're wasting on a month-to-month basis, I wouldn't hate it. I'm not going to turn away from the most brilliant mind in maybe world history when you look at the companies that he's founded and the value that he's unlocked. I'm amazed that he has the time and that he has the willingness. And what is he trying to do, Piers? He's trying to balance the budget, something that every family in America has to do, something that, ironically enough, every state has to do. And we're now $36 trillion in debt. We pay more in debt interest than we do for national defense, which is one of the signs of a society that is on decline, going all the way back to ancient Rome when you look at history and how money is spent. So we got to get our financial house in order, and anybody that can help, I'm in favor of. I thought it was very transparent. He answered every question. He said he's going to get some things wrong, and he's going to acknowledge when he gets things wrong. I actually think that's a strength. I get things wrong. You do. Everybody does in their daily life. Acknowledging when you screw up isn't in some way a sign of weakness. I think it's a sign of strength. I thought everything was great about the Oval Office press availability yesterday evening.
So, Clay Travis, does he genuinely believe the outlandish statements he makes? Does he truly think Elon Musk is the greatest mind ever? It's essential to note that Musk didn't start Tesla. He bought it. He didn't invent electric cars either. Electric vehicles have been around for over a century. Listening to Travis excessively praise Elon Musk is downright nauseating. The way Republicans and the MAGA crowd often make simplistic comparisons between household budgets and the US government's budget is misleading. Unlike households, the government can print money, making such comparisons fundamentally flawed. Yet these pundits never mention that in the context of the government's multi-trillion-dollar budget, Musk's focus on cutting minor costs is like obsessing over the expense of potato chips while ignoring the enormous monthly cost of a new car, like the Pentagon's massive budget in a household scenario. Roland Martin will highlight soon how these discussions conveniently ignore massive expenditures like the Pentagon's budget. It's like focusing on minuscule savings while making extravagant purchases, which is absurd. This reflects the typical right-wing propaganda narrative. Additionally, as Roland Martin points out regarding Elon Musk admitting he was wrong about something, he once claimed on Twitter that US aid spent $50 million on condoms for Gaza, a statement he repeated often. This lie was echoed repeatedly by right-wing pundits and politicians, becoming a so-called fact within their ecosystem. Now, will they all admit their mistake, acknowledging that they spread misinformation based on a lie from Musk? Highly unlikely.
Okay, before I go to Rana, Roland, you were putting all sorts of extraordinary faces there, but what specifically did you disagree with? Because, again, listening to Clay's analysis of it, what is there to actually find issue with?
No, it's great, but first of all, there are things that are factually important. He didn't found Tesla. He didn't found SpaceX, so Clay's wrong there. Two, when you talk about going through bloated government, if you're going to talk about a bloated bureaucracy, the department where we spend the most money, Pentagon. You've had previous reports that the Pentagon has upwards of 125 billion in waste. If you want to go after the place where there's the most waste, that's where you start. But they're not starting there. Also, you have to factor in contracts as well. How many Elon Musk companies were under investigation by federal agencies about practices such as SpaceX? Where are those investigations gone? So if you want to talk about transparency, shouldn't Elon and his companies be held to the same standard as everyone else? It doesn't appear that's the case.
Okay, Rana, you've been listening to this. Look, those are the two positions. Where do you sit?
I agree with Clay, and I think the American people right now are waking up saying, I had no idea that USAID had 10,000 employees, that the Department of Education had 4,000, that EPA has 14,000. What are they doing? I don't think people are waking up saying, oh, my world has changed now that 10,000 people aren't going to work at USAID. We have a bloated government. We have waste in our government, and it's finally time for people to look at these bureaucracies and audit them. And you know what? Every household in America, like Clay said, is doing the same thing. It is expensive right now. Eggs are expensive. The cost of gas is going up. Insurance is sky high. Every family is going in and saying, how do I change my budget? How do I afford what's going on? And why shouldn't our government be doing the exact same thing? And it's nice to see accountability and have somebody like Elon Musk from outside the government go in and find efficiencies that we need.
So, considering someone like Elon Musk, who has secured billions in government contracts over the years, can we really view him as an outsider to the government? Again, the discussion veers towards household budgets, with rising prices on everyday items like eggs and gas, which supposedly Trump was elected to control. Yet, will any of the proposed cuts to USAID or the job losses among federal workers lower these prices? Unlikely. And as these cuts are implemented, are we, the ordinary citizens, going to see any of that saved money? Or will it just end up in the pockets of Donald Trump and Elon Musk? Moreover, they're eager to cut federal jobs, but there's little talk about how such actions will affect local communities. In my own town, for instance, the federal government is the largest employer. I meet people almost daily who cheer on the firing of government workers. But what happens when local businesses start failing and your favorite restaurant shuts down? Suddenly, people are left wondering why all these establishments are closing. The reality is, if the best jobs in town disappear, as they might in many U.S. communities, those people will no longer have money to spend locally. But what do you think about all this? Do you side with Roland Martin's views? Or do you find some merit in what MAGA proponents like Clay Travis and Ronna McDaniel are saying? Let me know in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe. This is Cole Talk, and I'll see you in the next video.